Welcome everybody to the New World Order. And we have a lot to get into tonight. There's an absolutely ton going on in the news. So let's get right into it without any further ado. There he is, Jeffrey Epstein. Look over here, don't look at me. It's a war. World War III's going on. We got a moon landing. We got everything else but the Epstein people being arrested. Don't look over here. Whoa! There's a big war happening. It's all run by my friends, turns out. It's a World Wrestling Federation production. Yes! Don't look here. Don't look at the Belt and Road or the IMEX, where they're trying to shut down the Belt and Road. No, this is not the Belt and Road Wars. This is Israel is under attack by Iran, and they're being threatened by nuclear weapons that they've been building for the last million years. That's not Palm Beach today. That is Palm Beach in the very near future. Right now, that is a live feed from Tehran Grid 4.2. It's feed 03 with 47 drone kills. You got the F-15 downed there. You got all types of drone action going on, and soon you'll have robot dogs and robots fighting in these wars. As long as you don't arrest the people running the wars or the people doing naughty things on islands, we can continue to have World War III forever. It's the forever World War III. Because when war becomes permanent, it no longer is a war against a foreign adversary. It's a war against the people themselves. And that's exactly what is going on here and has been for quite a while. The banksters are the ones running this stuff, as they always have been. And now they have some non-satire for you. Water, soil, and oxygen should not be infinitely accessible. They're assets that should be included in the global economic balance sheets. What? This is not satire, it's the WEF bankers. Here they are, in all their glory. Of course it's not going to play on there. I just played it on there like 10 minutes ago.
When we talk about capital, we tend to think only about financial capital, about cash, financial assets, but we know that's not the only value on which our economies depend. We know that every aspect of every part of the economy is fundamentally dependent on nature, as you highlighted. The air that we breathe, the water we drink, the soil, the oceans that we need for the food that we need to consume, the minerals that we need as inputs to technology and to infrastructure. And without these forms of value, these forms of natural capital, we won't have economies. They are the fundamental building blocks of our economies. But the ways, as you said, the ways in which we have grown our economies, our models of economic development, have been incredibly successful for global prosperity. But the unintended consequences of current models of growth are simply not sustainable on a finite planet. The amount of resource that we are drawing into our economies, Earth's resources, and the amount of pollution and waste that we're pumping out, whether that's through greenhouse gas emissions, whether that's sewage into our water, whether it's plastics into the ocean, is beyond the Earth's carrying capacity. And we know that that's leading, as you said, to very significant direct impacts for society, but very significant financial costs for the economy. You can look at that as you have and calculate that at a macro level. But the way that that's showing up as we're breaching these boundaries and breaching these limits and undermining nature is showing up in very practical ways that are showing up for financial risk for institutions. Lack of water is leading to disruption of operations, of supply chains where water is needed as an essential input for manufacturing or power production. The degradation of soil is leading to reduced agricultural yields. The decline of pollinator species is also having an impact on agriculture. So that's leading to direct financial risks for organizations, for businesses, and ultimately for investors. And as you said, ultimately the reason for this...
Ultimately for investors. The most important people of all, of course. It's our water, and it's our oil, and it's our planet. It's not for you guys. Get out of here. This is our stuff.
At the moment, the way that decisions are made on an everyday level within businesses and financial...
I'm running out of fresh water from my 7 multi-billion-dollar yachts. Fuck you guys.
...institutions is because we're looking only at financial data, financial metrics that are not factoring in nature. Nature is treated within the economy as though it's unlimited and predominantly as though it's free. And the risks and harms are simply not costed in financial terms. We can cost them at a macro level. They're not costed into day-to-day decision-making. And the result is, as a consequence, we've put all of our economies at fundamental risk. We can't do business on a dead planet. If we're going to protect natural systems, one of the solutions is to bring nature onto the balance sheet, to bring nature into the ways that decisions are made.
Exactly. We shouldn't be giving you air for free. I mean, holy moly, there's got to be a way that we can make you pay for the air.
Business, to allocate a value to it and to bring it into accounting and financial mechanisms.
Exactly. Everything should be charged. You can't get nothing for free. It's absolutely insane. So they want to charge us for water, soil, and oxygen. This is my response to that.
We got a score we need to settle. We got a score we need to settle.
Fuck you guys. All right, enough of this shit. Charging us for water, soil, and air while they run World War III from their multi-billion-dollar yachts. Like, get the fuck out of here. Are you kidding me? Here was Rothschild history. On his deathbed, the scavenger of human misery, Mayor Amschel Rothschild instructs his sons to establish banking houses across Europe's key cities.
You are 5 brothers. I want you each to start a banking business in a different country. One to go and open a house in Paris, one in Vienna, one in London. Choose the most important centers, so that when money is to be sent from here to London, let us say, you won't have to risk life and gold. Amschel, here in Frankfurt, will just send a letter to Nathan in London saying, pay so-and-so. And that will be offset by loans from London to Frankfurt. You understand?
Yes.
In your day, there will be many wars in Europe. And nations that have money to transport will come to the Rothschilds because it will be safe.
Papa, you mustn't talk anymore. The doctor's...
I'm giving advice to our sons, Mama, that the doctor cannot give. Remember, unity is strength. All your lives you must stand by one another. No one brother must be allowed to fail while another brother succeeds. Your 5 banking houses may cover Europe, but you will be one firm, one family, the Rothschilds, who work always together. That will be your power.
Yep, and we're still dealing with these people here today. Here is MI6 Chief Blaise Metrueli, who looks away as camera catches her leaving the Bilderberg meeting 2026. They rule from the shadows. And I want to know, who are the largest bank account owners in these various banks? Who are these members of the black nobility of Europe? Who was the people that took the wealth of the Holy Roman Empire and hid it away in the central banking scheme? Yep. Oh yeah, looks away real quick. You caught on camera. And what happened to us exposing the Bilderberg meetings and the Bohemian Grove and all that? How come all of that vanished from the truth movement? Well, we'll take a look at some of these truth actors towards the end of the show tonight. However, the banksters, the financial leaders of the planet, have not disappeared. And these people are all tied into the Jeffrey Epstein ring. We've talked about the Rothschild connections to Epstein. We've talked about his connections to things like Deutsche Bank and these other large banks like JP Morgan Chase. And here he is. Jeffrey Epstein sent girls to a massage school located in the City of London. The City of London is one of these large banking hubs that no one seems to talk about anymore. Ronaldo Alva da Silva wrote, "Dear Jeffrey, hope he finds this well and happy. The area is around Farringdon Tube Station, right in the City of London, where most of the biz clients work. And the massage schools like to be based as they would be the two main sources of income." So you can see right there, Jeffrey Epstein was servicing these banksters, working on their behalf. None of them have been put into prison. Not a single one. These people have destroyed our country, de-industrialized the West, and shifted the power to the East. They're trying to reroute global trade to the Belt and Road Initiative, and yet no one is doing anything about this. Epstein-linked bank settlements have totaled over $365 million, yet no one has gone to jail. JP Morgan Chase, which is a main bank in the Federal Reserve System, paid $290 million in 2023. Deutsche Bank paid $75 million in 2023. Each payment resolved lawsuits alleging the banks processed transactions while ignoring compliance red flags. How much money do you think they made off of running the Jeffrey Epstein human trafficking ring, that they're shelling out these fees without even blinking an eye? They're like, yeah, sure, whatever. We made probably 3 times that amount. Not one person's going to jail. And they're just paying out money as if, you know, they didn't make more money from running it than they're paying out. We all know they did. I mean, Epstein was cranking out billions of dollars. And these were the people handling all the money. So you know, and their executives are all tied into this, you know that they made more than the fees that they're paying out. For them, this is just a small take part of their profit they made on this. The financiers here. To the sender of this email, Jeffrey Epstein, permission to kill him appears to be Susan Hamblin, a financial advisor and founder of the adoption agency Kids to Families. See here, Jeffrey E. Gvacation at gmail.com. No one will lie to you and get away with it from me. No one. Whoops is correct. Whoops. I give you permission to kill him. He is apparently with Olga. He lied to you and he lied to me. That's from Susan Hamblin, one of these big-time financiers. In February 1988, Jeffrey Epstein began managing the personal and business finances of Leslie Wexner, another guy who no media has gone to go after this guy. He's just living scot-free in the United States, got all types of ties to Mossad and Israel, and he doesn't have the best interests of the United States in mind, that's for sure. Yet he's able to run all these businesses, control the minds of men through things like Victoria's Secret and the L brands and all this stuff. That same month, the Wexner Heritage Foundation held a national fundraising retreat for donors in Palm Beach, Florida, titled Models of Ethical Leadership. You see here, Wexner is just highly, highly implicated in all this. And I love how they always try to hide behind these nonsense things. You can see here ethics in Jewish education. They hide behind all that stuff. I highly doubt he's like a very devout Jewish individual, right? he's basically just using that so that you can't criticize him. So that if you criticize him and his connections to this kind of stuff, you can be like, oh, oy vey, look, it's the anti-Semites again. They're just coming after me because they love Hitler. Okay? Ambassador Netanyahu served for 5 years in the Israel Defense Force. Also tied into all this kind of stuff, along with Ehud Barak, right? And then here we have the Epstein files solidified exactly what yummy, yummy pizza is, and it has nothing to do with pizza or food in general. So many people tried to connect the dots for you for years, including Justin Bieber through music videos and numerous posts. You can see here the Jeffrey Epstein files, along with the countless other evidence that people like me put forward, have basically legitimized what we were all saying about Pizzagate, which is the pizza crap, when these elites are talking about it, has nothing to do with food. It has to do with them using sick code words that, you know, people recognize because these pedos have been using this stuff for a long time. It's not like the elite came up with this. It's just another thing they hijacked and used. And all these people that have come out and been like, oh, Pizzagate's fake, all this kind of stuff, a ton of them have turned out to be child abusers themselves. You know, and it's been confirmed so many different times, not just through the Epstein stuff. There was that Dr. Pizza guy. I mean, there was the Big Fish hack of Comet, which was hard evidence of everything that we said was going on. And that was 5 days before the false flag completely hoax that took place at Comet with Edgar Madison Welch, who was later murdered, by the way, by the police, so that no one could ever question him, you know, and his dad was all involved in that weird video production thing, and then it's just never-ending rabbit holes. However, you can see here, they were even allegedly selling children or child material on Etsy. The posts speak for themselves. There are hundreds of thousands of posts like this all over the internet, and they're not talking about food or selling pictures of pizza for thousands of dollars. These children are for sale. You can see here, Valdzin Kotrin, R.E., your pizza is yummy, yummy, merci beaucoup. So now we know it's some weird sexual deviant. They're French. Valdzin Kotrin, merci, Leslie. It's me, plaisir. Thank you for the pizza today. Really good.
Actual postings on Etsy of things for sale, right? And just look at them and think, what is that about? Notice that this whole account is titled Yummy Yummy Pizza, Yummy Yum Pizza. And once this all broke, they stopped selling on Etsy. Because it's kind of weird that there's an account selling pictures of kids eating pizza for thousands of dollars, right? That's a little weird. But it's not just that account. And notice how these accounts have pizza in their names, meaning how is the pizza account going to go and sell real things when they're clearly here to sell pictures of pizza for thousands of dollars, or dolls for 28,000 euros, or drawings for 47,000, or yeah. And when you look at the order info for this one, handmade, delivering from Turkey, and then they stopped selling. Because, yeah, that's kind of weird. 50,000, just look at it. What are they selling? Only one left, 20 views. Yeah.
Pretty weird stuff, but hey, you know, Pizzagate was totally fake, right? It was all fake. We just made it up to get Donald Trump in office, right? Even though people like me were saying they're both clowns, Hillary and Trump at the time. So it had nothing to do with politics, which is easily provable if you go back to the archive of videos I was making at the time. Email between Jeffrey Epstein and someone else. Millions of babies spoken about alongside veggie cream cheese. This isn't dark humor. This is true evil. You can see subject from Jeffrey Epstein, cream cheese baby. Don't look. Just go to 2J's. Haha, do you want veggie cream cheese tomorrow? I would go look for it now. Ari cream cheese baby. There are millions of babies. Very, very little good vegetable cream cheese. Right? I mean, what the hell does that... What are they even talking about? Like, it doesn't make any sense unless you apply the fact that this is definitely about some sort of code. So I didn't even get to the bottom part of the email there. I don't know if cream cheese and babies are on the same level. It's okay. There's still enough time today. I'm trying to schedule priming for 5:30. Fuel explosion 9:45. We'll bring a new engine startup video. So there you go. Here you have torture. Epstein tied young girls 11 to 13, spread out on floor and burned them with a magnifying glass. File extracts reveal. This is from FBI file case 50D-NY-3027571. Details. Dale Martin, date of birth, cell phone, telephone number, blah, 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 blah. Called the FBI National Threat Operations. Reported viral video appears to be Jeffrey Epstein torturing a young woman with a magnifying glass. Martin's daughter, Jessica McQueen, sent Martin a piece of video of what appeared to be a young white female, aged 11 to 13 years old, with dark-colored hair, tied down and naked. The victim is tied to the ground and spread eagle with a man who appears to be Jeffrey Epstein, holding a magnifying glass with a claw and burning the victim. Martin described the video as being blurry. However, the male subject appeared to be a very large man with gray hair, wearing jeans, short-sleeved black shirt, and white tennis shoes. Ritualistic sacrifice. Quote, he was a victim of a type of ritualistic sacrifice in which his feet were cut with a scimitar but left no scarring. You can see here, I have to probably pull it up on Twitter. I'd like to add a few other points disclosed by the purported victim. While on his yacht, witnessed African-American males having sex with white blonde females, all of whom were bleeding during intercourse. He was a victim of ritualistic sacrifice in which his feet were cut with a scimitar but left no scarring. On the yacht, he witnessed babies being dismembered, their intestines removed, and individuals eating the feces from these intestines. He was also raped by George Bush I. Victim disclosed he was escorted to the FBI building by Michael Moore, who's the creator of True Pundit, described by multiple online sources as a conspiracy-driven news website that attempts to paint the FBI in a bad light. Moore is a criminal record as a result of FBI investigation. Let me know if you want to discuss former FBI agent that called this into the head office. Thanks. You can see here at the top, interview of purported Epstein victim. Thanks. I didn't realize Bush raped him too. Okay. That's SSA, FBI, New York. Here you have SCIF posting the truth about Tom Hanks. And I don't know if Tom Hanks was involved in the Isaac Cappy thing. It sure is weird to me, the Instagram posts he made about that whole situation. However, that's not proof of anything. It's just very, very strange. The truth about Tom Hanks and the child trafficking epidemic in Hollywood and the satanic elite, they lied to you and gaslit you for years, when in reality they were the ones involved. When they show you who they are, believe them. You can see here, our Great West Point getting greater all the time was smartly canceled the award ceremony for actor Tom Hanks. Important move. We don't need destructive woke recipients getting our cherished American awards. Hopefully the Academy Awards and other fake award shows will review their standards and practices in the name of fairness and justice. Watch their dead ratings surge. You can see Tom Hanks on the right there. doing the blatant satanic symbolism.
Why are you so good to me?
You're my girl.
I'll always be your girl.
She's got AIDS, bro. Like, she went around and slept with everybody.
Response.
Information he claimed was privy to because of his time spent among Hollywood's gentility.
And this, make no mistake, this is a cult. There is a widespread cult that is worldwide.
As Cappy's following grew,
Yes, it's a widespread cult. He was 100% correct on that. Rest in peace, Cappy. Now, people are asking me about Palm Beach Pete, right? Well, who knows, honestly, because Jeffrey Epstein had many names and many passports, and he's able to probably get plastic surgery and look slightly different and things of that nature. I had tweeted out not that long ago a picture of someone near Richard Branson's island on a very exclusive part of the Caribbean that looked very much like Jeffrey Epstein. Let me see if I can... I didn't add that to the show notes, but let me see if I can't pull that up. Just really quickly. But it's definitely possible that he's changed his look just slightly to basically not be seen. It's not pulling up on my thing. Oh well. Someone had spotted what might have been Epstein. I wasn't sure. It didn't get a lot of traction, so I thought most people thought not. But it's definitely possible. Because Jeffrey Epstein, as you can see here, was also Marius Robert Fortinelli. This is an official passport with a different name that was released in the files. And yes, that is Jeffrey Epstein in the passport. Okay? And you can see here, Epstein and billionaire shrink pal emailed about disguises and plastic surgery for trouble avoidance, docs show. Right, so this is definitely not beyond the realm of possibility. The Epstein has now assumed some sort of other alias and has undergone plastic surgery in order to avoid people spotting him out in the wild. Right? I kind of want to see if I can't find that thing I put out. Hold on. How far back could it possibly be? Searching. So it's got to be way back there. I tweet out so much stuff, it's like impossible to go through all my things. There's no way. No, I should have put it in the show notes. It'll be impossible for me to find live. Just go through my Twitter and you'll see what I'm talking about. All right. So you can see here, well, tonight's not Meme Wars. Meme Wars will be the comedy night. That'll be, I don't know, 2 nights from now or so. I've seen the Dutch supermodel Jeffrey Sturm. He owe me 2 girls. So you can see here, nice model from Elite Amsterdam. I'll make it up to you in Paris. No threesome, please. I'd like a new toy as a present. And Epstein writes back, you owe me 2 girls. So there you go. He would use these models that he would get access to from Leslie Wexner because he ran Victoria's Secret. And then they would bring girls to Epstein as part of the deal. Woody Allen. The Epstein files are darker than anyone can expect. This video talks about Woody Allen's Epstein connection and his disgusting past.
Another one of Epstein's regular visitors at his disgusting pedophile mansion was, shocker, Woody Allen, who has been quoted by saying he doesn't regret his friendship with Epstein. He actually found him charming. Now, if you don't know, this pig was accused of assaulting his then 7-year-old adopted daughter, Dylan Farrow, who has spoken out candidly and openly about what her adoptive father did to her. And a recording of Mia Farrow and Woody Allen has resurfaced. It's actually heartbreaking. Listen to this.
What you've done to Suni, what you've done to Dylan. Dylan's a baby. How could you do that to her? You've told me nothing but lies. Dylan tells the truth inconsistently. And I didn't know the doctor had to report this to the authorities. I went just to be sure she was all right. And she's not all right, Woody. She walks around the house holding her vagina. She sleeps with me. She's scared of you. And you hurt her. And I feel pretty guilty myself that I wasn't there to protect her. She said, Mama, you didn't help me. She said, Daddy shouldn't have done that. He shouldn't have hurt me like that.
How is this sick fuck not in prison? Nothing ever happened to him. Shocking. He actually went on to marry Mia's other adopted daughter, Suni, who he helped raise since she was a little girl. And now the 2 of them have 2 young adopted daughters. Well, we can add Woody Allen to the names of disgusting, powerful, elite men who are somehow coming up in the Epstein files over and over and over again. But they're all innocent. Nothing to see here, especially him. FBI checked it out. It's all good, all fake. Do you know why justice will never be served for the thousands of victims, young children? Because the same people that and tortured them are the same people running the world.
Yep. All right, so I found it. Let's see if you guys think about this here. So one of the friends of mine was down at Oil Nut Bay. You can see Oil Nut Bay is one of the most exclusive, hard to get to islands in all of the Caribbean islands. You can see there's the British Virgin Islands. At the very end of the chain, you have Virgin Gorda. And at the very end of Virgin Gorda, you have this thing called Oil Nut Bay, which is right near Richard Branson's island, which is Necker Island, okay? You can see where this is, and this is the guy that they took a picture of. Doesn't look exactly like him, but it's close enough where I'm like, what the fuck? All right, there he is from the side. You know, a little bit of plastic surgery, a little bit of weight added on, and you got the same looking type of guy, right? I'm not 100% sure it's him, but the person who took the photo was like, that looks a lot like Epstein from where they were. And this would be down in a very exclusive, you can only really get there by private yacht type thing. So, I don't know. Just a thought. Seeing shit like this out there in the wild, for sure. Yeah, this will be up, don't worry. Tom Pritzker to Epstein. In a remote valley of Afghanistan, it's my birthday wish. Boys with toys.
Oh, God. What does that mean?
This is from June 6, 2011, from Tom Pritzker of the billionaire Pritzker family, one of the richest families in the world, to Jeffrey Epstein. I am in a remote valley of Afghanistan, and then in parentheses, it's my birthday wish. With boys with toys. I don't want to believe that means what I think it means, but we all know, it's been well documented in this studio by our friends who are tier 1 operators in Afghanistan, what goes on in Afghanistan as it relates to young boys. Dude. These people are just saying it on email.
So here you can see the U.S. Secretary of the Navy was on the Epstein flight logs as well. You can see his name there, along with people like John Luke Burnell. Pam Bondi.
Oh, hi, Pam Bondi. What are you doing with Keith Frankel? I have a couple questions for you, Pam. How much were the acting lessons? Do the Epstein victims that you cried with know that you're friends with Keith Frankel? Why was Keith Frankel and Jeffrey Epstein talking about body boxes on February 10th, 2010? You've read the files, so I'm sure you can tell us. If Jeffrey Epstein was such a monster, Pam, how come Keith went to his house so many times? One thing that was mentioned in the Epstein files is children being trafficked out of Ukraine. Keith Frankel and his family run a children's home that takes children out of Ukraine. You need to cut the shit, Pam. You need to cut the shit.
So here you can see 2 FBI agents were killed who were investigating Epstein, a SEAL Team 6 commander, and multiple high-ranking U.S. officials. And if you don't recall, there was actually a story as well that I took video of the area of to show you, which I'll be posting probably in the next couple days, while I was down in the Caribbean, where Secret Service agents hit a rock in the Caribbean Sea that goes in between Jeffrey Epstein's estate and the nearest marina where they were bringing people to and from his island, and 2 Secret Service agents died during that. And if you take a look at where the video is that I'll post, you'll see that it was most likely while they were, transporting VIPs to and from Epstein's Island from St. Thomas. And here you can see again, 2 FBI agents were killed who were investigating Epstein, a SEAL Team 6 commander, and multiple high-ranking U.S. officials. Prince Philip is a small fry compared to what we have uncovered.
How is this Epstein file not front page news? So a man named Ken Turner was investigating a trafficking network in Mexico for 17 years. As it unfolded, it began to implicate Epstein, Richard Marcinko, who was a SEAL Team 6 commander, and multiple U.S. officials. And on July 27, 2019, so 2 weeks before Epstein supposedly himself, he sent an email saying, "We've had another serious incident since an American shot the trial judge in our child sex trafficking case here. He and I both think this latest incident is tied to the fact that we have reached out to your team. Who on your team knows we are talking to you? Is it anyone assigned from NSA, CIA, or the U.S. State Department? Please understand people's lives here are in jeopardy. We've already had 4 armed attacks against us. My partner has shot and killed 2 and wounded 5 American agents to date. Numerous white American agents are following us in vans assigned to U.S. embassies. Jorge was attacked and lost his arm. The president of Mexico is keenly aware of our case against Redacted and other U.S. officials. This case we have here is most certainly connected to yours. We have the proof. Our case will help bring a whole new dynamic to what you know and who's involved. Prince Philip is a small fry compared to what we have uncovered." And then somebody responds to his email and says, "My task force is not affiliated with the intelligence community if you want to arrange a call time." Then on August 5th, so 5 days before Epstein supposedly himself, Ken Turner sends another email, so the guy from the first email chain, and it says, "My nephew Logan Turner was shot and killed in the mass shooting in Dayton, Ohio last evening. I'm rushing home to be with my immediate family. All investigative work on Marcinko and Epstein is still in process, and we've uncovered more videos and photos of the 2 of them together in Mexico. Another attempt by U.S. Embassy security team was made yesterday when they stopped my partner and searched her car looking for the videos and photos we've uncovered that they told her could not leave Mexico. They were not in her car. Someone does not want this data disclosed." So what do you think? Could the Dayton shooting have been a warning to Ken Turner to stop investigating Epstein? Then on August 10th, so the same day that Epstein supposedly himself, he sends another email saying, just heard about Epstein. Based upon what we've discovered here and who was involved, we don't believe it was suicide. If you want a full deep dive on this with links to all of the files, just comment Mexico below and I'll send it over to you. I created an entire Substack so you can read it for yourself. It also includes a deep dive on Marcinko, who was a SEAL Team 6 commander, because not enough people are talking about him.
If you want to know more about that kind of stuff, you need to go look up Kathy Grigg's interview. It's a 7-hour-long interview where this former wife of a high-level military official goes through all this kind of stuff and talks about how the Mossad does wet ops on U.S. soil with the help of the Navy SEALs, and how a lot of high-ranking military members are sexual deviants and all these things. Not good. Not good. This is how they control nations. Longevity doctor Peter Attia appears 1,700 times in the Epstein document releases. Files show he arranged private medical testing for Epstein and exchanged explicit emails with him. He joined CBS News as a contributor in January 2026. He resigned 1 month later. And now there's a whole Peter Attia rabbit hole if you're interested in that. The rise and fall of Peter Attia's longevity empire. Attia built his band on trust and credibility. The revelation of a years-long relationship with Jeffrey Epstein has upended that. So, to me, it was kind of interesting. He's tied in with other people we've discussed in the past, like, where was it? He's tied in with Oprah, Jeff Bezos as well, right? He's been promoted by Oprah. Oprah's also promoted people like John of God, right? One of these fake, there he goes. Peter Attia is an influential longevity guru endorsed by Oprah Winfrey, Gwyneth Paltrow, and Hugh Jackman. Okay? And Oprah's also promoted John of God and all this kind of stuff. All these Hollywood people are part of the cult. You don't get to that level of, being rich and famous without joining this cult, it would seem. The Royal Order of Jesters was being exposed in movies Eyed Wide Shut. I wouldn't be surprised. And cheers to Op Death Eaters. That was a great movement by Anonymous to expose these people. It's all in the show notes if you guys want to go dig deeper into the Peter Attia rabbit hole. There was a really interesting moment recently where Melania Trump was questioned about the Epstein stuff, and she got all flustered and walked off camera when they started asking about Howard Lutnick. And she goes, goodbye. No more questions. Don't ask about Howard Lutnick, okay? They're not willing to answer those questions.
To provide the women who have been victimized by Epstein with a public hearing specifically centered around the survivors. Give these victims their opportunity to testify under oath in front of Congress with the power of sworn testimony.
Guys, she's got humanoid robots to sell to the third world with Sarah Netanyahu. She doesn't have time to answer your Epstein questions, okay? I don't think she was really involved in any of that. I think she's just kind of caught in the crosshairs. But still, she's one of the most useless first ladies of all time. All she's done really is nothing. Done fashion outfits and tried to sell humanoid robots named Play-Doh that will be teaching third world children instead of teachers. So just leave Melania alone, okay? She's doing Absolutely nothing. Charlie Kirk. Turns out Charlie Kirk was already on the trail of the Rothschild-Epstein connection over 3 years ago. You can see here, Epstein's calendar reveals he met with, this is from Charlie Kirk, Epstein's calendar reveals he met with CIA Director William Burns, Henry Kissinger, Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak, and Obama White House counsel Catherine Rumler, a Rothschild, all after he was a registered sex offender. This is why we'll never see Epstein's client list. And right there you go. I mean, it's popped up over the years, this client list, in various ways. You know, there's all those serial killers that were connected to this kind of stuff. The clown and the candy man thing, if you guys ever heard that podcast about, you know, the various serial killers. There's the program to kill thing where these client lists keep popping up and then disappearing. This cult has been caught many, many times. Epstein is not the first, nor will he be the last, I'm sure. They keep using this type of blackmail to entrap people that have political influence or just influence over culture in general. And the lists always seem to disappear. No clients of these things ever get into trouble. Everything always gets pinned onto like one person. Oh, Epstein was a bad guy. None of the clients were. You know, it just continuously happens that way. Keith Raniere, the Nexium guy, right? They threw the book at him and like one or two of his accomplices. They threw the book at Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, but none of the clients. You have Fox Island. You have so many different examples of this over the years. It's, insane. And you guys ever heard about the one how Aaron Swartz was murdered because he discovered a pedophile cabal operating out of the MIT Media Lab? And we now know that Jeffrey Epstein was highly connected to that MIT Media Lab. Was Aaron Swartz killed by an MIT satanic child porn ring? And here you have Swartz on Sam Altman. You need to understand that Sam can never be trusted. He's a sociopath. He would do anything. Aaron Swartz on Sam Altman shortly before he quote-unquote took his own life. And that was because, if he did commit suicide, it's because the FBI had turned everyone against him and done everything they could to ruin this kid's life for downloading academic books, supposedly. The board member was not the only person who unprompted used the word sociopathic. One of Altman's batchmates in the first Y Combinator cohort was Aaron Swartz, a brilliant but troubled coder who died by suicide in 2013 and is now remembered in many tech circles as something of a sage. Not long before his death, Swartz expressed concerns about Altman to several friends. You need to understand that Sam can never be trusted, he told one. He's a sociopath. He would do anything. And then here we have TMZ. Harvey Levin, who runs TMZ, was named in the Epstein files. Epstein referred to him as a good friend who could help run a global PR campaign to clear the pedophile's name. Harvey didn't give a shit about that Jeffrey was raping kids, but he's going to posture about morality now. You can see here Mike Citrick from To Jeffrey Epstein. He tried to call you. Harvey Levin, who runs TMZ, is a good friend. They haven't reported on this at all, but I might be able to get him to do something on the Duchess and her backpedaling. And Epstein goes, I'll save for the right time. Okay with leaking to British press, but think we need to get a statement out. These are the people trying to lecture you about morality. And you can see him talking about Zuckerman. And here's this Dan Blitzerian guy who's been making a run for Congress against Randy Fine.
Called your
Randy Fine is
opponent.
a total piece of crap. And these guys are going to play the morality card I told you about earlier, where they hide behind the whole, oh, you're an anti-Semite thing.
This fat Jew. So he's not from Israel, but you called a guy in Florida this fat Jew. How is that not anti-Semitic?
Well, he's a Jewish supremacist, and he puts Israel before America, and I think that, he should be...
If this guy called Randy Fine a fat cracker, they wouldn't have cared, at all.
Tried for treason.
This fat Jew is anti-Semitic.
Yes.
Dan.
I mean, that's what you say, but how about
that's
every
what
single
that's
time
what
he
I
blasts
that's what
Muslims?
I know. I don't say
Well,
it. I know
he
it.
literally talks about how Muslims are lower than dogs. So is that Islamophobic?
Yes. Yes, it is. And that wouldn't be, that's not appropriate for him to say either. If he had said that.
But he does all the time. And he tweets that. And he's a senator.
Are you anti-Semitic?
No, I'm not anti-Semitic. I think that, that's kind of a made-up term. I think the Palestinians are the real Semites.
Term?
Yes, because if you look at what a Semite
was
is...
Was Hitler anti-Semitic?
What's that?
Was Hitler anti-Semitic?
Like I said, it's...
He dropped the H-bomb, everyone. He brought up the H-dog. I mean, that shit happened in the fucking 1940s. It's almost 100 years old. Who fucking cares? That has nothing to do with the conversation at hand.
Focus solely on Jews, but actual Semites are the Arabs, and Palestinians are Semites as well, and they actually have more DNA lineage to that region than any of the Eastern European Ashkenazi Jews that have taken it from them. So I kind of have issue with that term. And how
actually, which we'll get into in a little bit, turns out white people also have more lineage to that land.
It's been hijacked to only talk about Jews.
So if you want to call it anti-Jewish, then you can call it anti-Jewish.
Well, I'm not going to call this anti-Jewish. When you say that this fat Jew, you can take another race and you could use another epithet, but you're anti-Semitic, Dan.
I'm not. I
You
have
are.
I have Jewish friends.
Oh, some of your best friends are
I don't paint
Jewish?
all Jews with one brush, but he paints all Muslims with one brush, and it's accepted. And for some reason in this country, it is okay to just blast Muslims, bash them. You look at what Bill Maher said about Muslims. I mean, it's this double standard, and I don't like the double standard. And I look at him as a Jewish supremacist. He believes that Jews are better than other people, and he puts Israel before America. And so I have huge problems with that.
So if you've got a black friend that you don't like, do you use the N-word on him?
No, I don't.
Well, then what's the difference when you use the word fat Jew for a Jew you don't like?
Well, is Jew the same as because that is not that's not, one is a slur, right? And one is describing a religion. So you can't compare the two.
There's a way
how can you compare those two?
There's a way you say it, Dan, that the intent is the same. It's
not the same at all.
Here. So
one is a slur, one is a racial slur that I don't use, and the other one is describing ethnicity.
You just used it.
Well, are we adults? Can we talk about a word?
Sure.
Was a word so offensive that it just you can't say it? We have to say
the answer to that is yes.
So I want to ask a question.
People are too sensitive.
I'm voting for this guy. I don't even know what his platform is, but if I could vote for him, I would vote for him. He just drops the N-bomb on these dudes. Russian political strategist Pavel Dubrovsky shared a meaningful graphic. In the photo of U.S. Congress members, those funded by the pro-Israel lobbying group AIPAC are highlighted in red. 324 of 435 members of Congress are controlled by Israel. It's insane. I mean, look at this. All of the red are people taking money from a foreign country. If this was China or like any other country at all, if this was like Italy that was funding all these people, you would be concerned. Obviously. You'd be like, oh, well, we're run by Italy. I mean, it's like, what is going on here? At what point should we be concerned is the question. You know what I mean? Like, we should end, there shouldn't be any lobbying. Lobbying should be ended. That should be illegal They should represent the people who they were elected by, not by lobbying groups, because it's not just foreign entities that control these people through lobbying. It's the most evil thing on earth along with that. Corporations. Corporations. The future of the world is we're all going to be run by evil, satanic corporations. And this is just exactly that, except by some foreign entity. But we all know in the future, if you've ever played anything like Cyberpunk, which is a great view of the world that we're moving into, the corporations will run everything and destroy everything and take everything from everyone. Benjamin Netanyahu threatens all of Europe for not getting involved in starting a world war with Iran, saying Israel would not forget what you did. Netanyahu says Europe has forgotten many things since the Holocaust and that Israel is protecting all of Europe today. This guy, BB bot.
אנחנו מגינים על אירופה. אירופה ששכחה כל כך הרבה דברים מאז השואה. היא יכולה ללמוד מאיתנו הרבה דברים.
And notice this, he's saying this in Hebrew or whatever stupid gibberish language he's using, because he doesn't want the American audience to hear this.
את הדבר העיקרי, את ההבחנה החדה בין טוב ורע, שמחייבת ברגע האמת לצאת למלחמה למען הטוב, למען החיים. אירופה, שנשבעה לאחר מלחמת העולם להגן על הטוב, נגועה היום בחולשה מוסרית עמוקה. אירופה מאבדת שליטה על הזהות שלה, על הערכים שלה, על המחויבות שלה לשמור על הסיביליזציה מפני הברבריות. אבל את המחויבות הנצחית הזאת, ישראל...
Yet no one wants to fight your stupid war, BB. And I don't even know if this is a war for Israel, because they're all tied in with the Belt and Road crap. This almost seems like this is America trying to cut the Belt and Road in half and take back over the Middle East for, you know, the Western nations. And Israel is just, you know, taking advantage of the situation because they hate Iran that much. And they're like, oh, well, if they're going to do that, we'll just start bombing Lebanon and every other country around us for the Greater Israel Project. We'll get back to the Belt and Road Initiative later, but for now, we're just going to expand our territory by bombing everybody. And here is a message for all of you. This is a Zionist message to Americans. Anyone who criticizes Israel as our enemy, we will monitor you with Google, find your weaknesses, get you fired, and if you have a business, we will bankrupt it. Well, that seems like nice behavior.
Target Jewish students, your actions will not disappear into the darkness. We will shine a light on you that, thanks to Google and SEO, will follow you for the rest of your life. When you look for a job, when you look for a spouse, when you look for a nanny, when you look for anything, our work will always be documented. Again, thanks to Google and SEO. In corporations where DEI leaders smeared Israel, excused Hamas, we pressured CEOs. Some resigned, many were terminated, but policies were changed, thankfully, from governmental to art institutions. Online, where anonymous accounts spread violent threats, we traced patterns, elevated evidence, and worked with authorities, leading to arrests from Florida, South Carolina, New York, California, and Texas. And we're not slowing down, sadly. Today, Stop Anti-Semitism, I'm proud to say, runs one of the most robust anti-Semitic enforcement operations in the United States, monitoring campuses, digital networks, activist groups, and public officials, documenting incidents in real time and mobilizing millions of people, of allies that are quietly by our side. But the fight is bigger than the exposure, and it's about securing a future where Jewish students can walk across a quad without being screamed at, a future where employers understand that anti-Semitism is not activism. It's bigotry, and it will cause you to lose your job.
Oh, must be nice. Just dismantle the First Amendment. Someone on Rumble's asking about, what do you think of all these scientists disappearing, apparently? That's something that's happened over time. Whenever they start talking about things they're not supposed to and they're involved in top secret programs, they get disappeared. You know, if you want to live an interesting life and get involved in stuff that's at the highest levels of top secret clearance, then that's kind of what happens with that. Your life is too interesting, and it's so interesting that you get taken by the government, taken somewhere, tortured to death, and disappeared. So yeah, that's what I think what's going on with the scientists. Okay, they are guilty of having too much information and living too interesting a life, and that's the price you pay for that. You know, this has happened to a bunch of people over the years. The guy who wrote the book Fire from Ice, the dude with low energy nuclear reactions, Dr. Eugene Malov, they murdered him and said that it was some tenant that did it. You know, they always come up with these things, and it's always, if you get involved in high level, top secret type stuff, you putting your life at risk, and that's what I think is happening with those people. All these scientists that have gone missing. By the way, demon rats absolutely suck, okay? The CFR, as they called it in 1977, was controlled disintegration of the United States industrial base. They tried to shift the power of the West over to the East in order to create a power that was equivalent to the United States, so we'd be locked in never-ending conflict forever. As they try to restructure the globe for the Belt and Road Initiative, people like Henry Kissinger, who sat on the boards of many things like the Bilderberg Group and the CFR, was highly influential in this matter. And this lady here, who really loves Trump a lot, but she did get some of this right. Like, the Banksters did de-industrialize the United States as per a plan.
On Saturday, Secretary of State Marco Rubio blew the lid off of a 50-year-old conspiracy. He said that the destruction of the American economy was deliberate.
De-industrialization was not inevitable. It was a conscious policy choice, a decades-long economic undertaking that stripped our nations of their wealth, of their productive capacity, and of their independence.
He's right. It wasn't an accident. It wasn't market forces. It was a plan written down 50 years ago, and today we're going to give you the receipts.
Yeah. This is what's been going on. They de-industrialized the United States, shipped all of our manufacturing overseas. All these big corporations were highly responsible for that. Eric Swalwell has been caught being very, very naughty. I don't know, this tweet might be gone. Did he take it down or something? Oh no, here it goes. Here he is. Someone is filming this, by the way. So someone is filming in a hotel room, Eric Swalwell getting a little naughty with a professional. And there's another person in the room as well. So God knows what was going on there. This chick, Representative Luna,
all agree on the basics that maybe if you're, I don't know, sexually harassing or assaulting or have issues of domestic violence or you're stealing funds from FEMA, maybe you should not be in Congress, right? Like maybe it's time for you to go home and figure those issues out.
This is the same Swalwell who slept with a Chinese spy, by the way. And here he is. He's going to come out and own up to this.
A lot has been said about me today through anonymous allegations. And I thought it was important that you see and hear from me directly.
It's been a lot more than
These allegations of sexual assault are flat false. They are absolutely false. They did not happen. They have never happened.
Okay, nothing is true until officially denied. All right? This is the same guy who slept with Fin Fing or Fang Li or whatever the fuck her name was. Some blatant CCP-connected spy. This guy should be banned from any government position and shipped back to Beijing where he belongs. Believe all women, Eric Swalwell says retard finder on Twitter. Believe all women. There it is. Retard finder. Found another one. Eric Swalwell. And here we go. Lena Drews on Eric Swalwell. He raped me, he choked me, and while he was choking me, I lost consciousness, and I thought I died. I did not consent to any sexual activity. I would never have engaged in a consensual sexual encounter with Eric Swalwell. Well, another victim has spoken out.
He raped me, and he choked me. And while he was choking me, I lost consciousness. And I thought I died. I did not consent to any sexual activity. Although I did not undergo a rape kit at the time, I disclosed the assault to the people closest to me. I also recorded these events in my handwritten calendar.
So there you go. It's in a handwritten calendar, so you know it's true. This guy is fucked. It's about time he got kicked out of government. These people, you know, Fang in the chat, that was who he slept with. He should have been hung the day that came out for treason. Didn't we used to hang these people back in the day? Whatever happened to that? I think we need to bring back the gallows, start hanging some of these people that rape kids, start hanging some of these people that are blatant traitors to the United States of America. And I think this problem would probably solve itself, you know, over a very short period of time. I think we could clean this country up pretty fucking quickly because all of the other traitors would just run for the hills. Start hanging a couple of them and the rats are going to jump off the ship very quickly. Another one every day. Oh my God, every day. One more being outed as a closeted rear end user. Just came out of the closet already. Stop living double lives. And here you have breaking. Disgraced former Rhino Congressman Adam Kissinger has been accused of engaging in sex with dozens of males. Look at that face. I'm not shocked at all. Look at this guy. Prostitutes and having a secret gay dating profile during his time as congressman in Washington, D.C. At least 3 homosexual men who claim to have engaged in sex with this dude, Adam Kissinger. I mean, is anyone shocked looking at that guy? I'm not shocked. You know what I mean? That's just, how did we not know the whole time? And there's a new alliance that has been formed. Less than 100 people saw this, so I thought I would spread the word. Elijah Schaefer has intimate knowledge that Asians love to lick men's nipples. Elijah then calls on Eric Swalwell to form a nipple-licking alliance with former MAGA figures like himself and Pam Bondi. This is Elijah Schaefer, who's now trying to look as gay as possible. Dyed his hair, is wearing extremely homosexual sunglasses.
And, you know, we talked a little bit about the fact that Asians have a fetish for licking men's nipples. Not that I know about that, but I have friends who are into that. And they say they all do that, okay? A very important fact here. So I only say that because Eric Swalwell, who's a nipple licker, okay? He likes his nipples licked. Okay, no judgment. We don't kink shame on the show. He's getting information from Pam Bondi. And that just shows you the Republicans and Democrats are working together. And further reminds me that, look, Pam Bondi was MAGA 2 weeks ago, and they're working with the Democrats. We're calling them the Republicrats or the Demoblicans. We don't really know.
This all might be part of the plan.
How do people watch people like this? How does this guy have a huge audience? Oh, I know. He's another e-celebrity who is a sexual deviant, which is why he's allowed to go viral. Right? This is how it always works on the internet in these circles. When they have a huge audience like this, you know, and their most slightly offensive thing they've done is try to hide the fact that they're a flaming homosexual right in public, right in your face, okay? They're allowed to go viral. They're allowed to have a big audience. Nick Fuentes has known for years that Ali Akbar and Elijah Schaefer are gay predators And yet he let them into his youth movement and still defends them to this day. He was just on Eliza's show a few weeks ago after his affairs were made public.
Yeah, 2016
We
gotta get that on a boombox. We gotta
on Jan 6th. Everyone else who was there on Jan 6th got put into jail for like a billion years, some without even legal representation. Yet one of the main leaders, in fact, all of the main leaders of this, none of them were put in jail. They were all let to go free. Weird, right?
Shadow Lake! Shadow Lake! Shadow Lake! Shadow Lake! Shadow Lake!
Come on.
Rob, why don't you stand back there, okay?
On my IG story real quick. Sure. You gotta replace their...
It's actually neocon Jackson's anyways.
Wow. First
For now. Yeah, let's go on IG.
Is that Elijah Schaefer?
Fucking faggot.
Is it? No, it's not him. I thought it was him.
He was so gay for me.
He's horrible.
A CPAC? Yeah. Hold on, what you drink? Maybe a minute ago. What's going on here? Him and Ali was out here. I was like, I took Owen's short. I was like, Owen, Ali's a pedo, right? And he's like, why's everybody say that? I'm like, dude, come on.
Yeah,
are you serious?
How do people not know?
And he's like, oh, I work for InfoWars, so I don't really deal with that. That's some bullshit right there.
Who said what?
Owen Schroyer was giving me the bullshit. Oh, I don't really know about Ali. I just work for InfoWars. That's my job.
Oh, were you asking about like?
Well, Ali hit on me hard.
Oh.
And was like, asked me how tall I was, what kind of alcohol I drank. He was like, hey, if you want to come do chores for me, let me know.
Oh, bro. Yeah, I'm trying to get that guy.
He's looking for the sexy maid. The sexy maid op.
They're like.
Yeah, and why doesn't InfoWars care? Because InfoWars is a part of this cross-promotion network, and they're never going to expose their own people. Nick Fuentes has been promoted on all of InfoWars stuff for years and years and years, right? So they're not going to expose the inner members of Nick Fuentes' little circle. Elijah Schaefer, Ali Akbar, all these guys are sexual deviants, which is how they're controlled. That's why they're allowed to go viral. That's why they're allowed to have large audiences. Nick Fuentes isn't going to do anything about this. He was just shown in person that this Elijah Schaefer guy was hitting on underage teenage boys. And so was Ali Akbar. Did Nick Fuentes ever come out and tell the public about any of this? No, of course not. Elijah court documents. Here it says, now I know why Elijah's lawyer tried to seal the transcript in Palm Beach County and why it was rejected by the clerk. His wife, Kezia, is alleging that he is a possible pedophile as the reason why she sought full custody of the children. There's actually another post talking about allegations and quoting your husband, right? Yes, sir. And one of the concerns you have is they're quoting him admitting that he abused a child when he was a youth pastor, right? Before he became an internet. Yes. A boy child. Yes. A 16-year-old boy. Yes, sir. When he was at, and so these are part of your concerns about him in this video. These things show some of the extreme views and some of the concerns why you have concerns about your children being alone with him, right? So Elijah Schaefer, total creep, and shouldn't have access to his kids if these things are all true. He's a fucking pedophile. Now let's move on to more of these absolutely retarded Democrats. You have the governor of Massachusetts, which has the second highest energy prices in the country, tries to explain energy with donuts. Okay?
Energy bills are high. Everyone can see that. So lowering your energy bills is my top priority.
Yeah, fucking
now,
right.
How does that happen? That's a little more complicated. So let's talk about energy in a way that everyone understands. With munchkins. Picture this. You're at work or school, wherever. It's 9 a.m. and no one's eaten breakfast. Someone shows up with one of these. Demand is high. Everyone wants a munchkin or 2 or 3, but we've only got 25. That's where we're headed with energy. So how do we fix that? See this glazed munchkin? That's wind. Massachusetts are...
What a fucking jackass. Trying to explain energy with fucking Dunkin' Donuts GMO fucking nonsense because she knows that a lot of people in Massachusetts eat that crap. What a fucking dumb bitch. Pandering to the people in the worst way possible, trying to make them seem like idiots. It's absolutely insane. Massachusetts Governor Maura Healey is corrupt as they come. This needs national coverage. Here's Massachusetts Governor Maura Healey with her longtime friend Elise Sherry, CEO of NGO nonprofit Blue Hub Capital. Elise Sherry tax documents show she's been making over $1 million.
Politics is a dirty game, and Massachusetts is corrupt as ever, and this right here is just a perfect example. Above me here is Massachusetts Governor Maura Healey, and right over here is her longtime friend Elise Cherry, who is also the CEO of Blue Hub Capital, which is a nonprofit organization in Massachusetts that's currently being sued by several Massachusetts residents. Now, before we even dive into the corruption, let's just look at this. This is crazy. So the Fall River Reporter released these tax documents showing that this CEO has made over $1 million in back-to-back years for this nonprofit. Now, the mission statement on their website claims that they focus on economically and racially marginalized communities that have been systematically denied access to capital. Now, a lot of the victims are claiming that they were deceived, that there were things behind the scenes they didn't know about, second mortgages being taken out, they can't refinance, they're stuck in this high-interest loan, they're losing 50% of their equity, and essentially the tone of this lawsuit is that this is a predatory lending company. Now, this is where things start to get really gross, though. So the Fall River Reporter also released these documents showing that the CEO of this nonprofit, Elise Cherry, has donated to Maura Healey every single year since 2013, maxing out her contributions.
Yeah, there you go. The kickback to Maura Healey from the scam that is screwing people and doing it through high interest, right? But even more important with that, her stupid little, analysis of what are we going to do for energy. She starts out with offshore wind, okay? The Department of Defense shut down offshore wind because it is a massive national security threat. Then the stupid fucking Democrats went and sued the government in order to get their stupid fucking offshore wind farms relaunched. Meanwhile, they are a massive national security threat, and we are at war. We're in World War III, yet they want to keep putting up these things that serve no benefit to society for whatever effing reason. You can see the threat is absolutely legitimate. The problem is those stupid things make a ton of noise, especially in the water, and you can't hear anything underwater where these stupid wind farms are. As of early 2026, U.S. government has raised national security concerns regarding offshore wind farms, particularly on the East Coast, prompting pauses on several projects. Concerns center on clutter from turbines interfering with radar systems, potentially blinding defense systems like PavePaws, and risk of surveillance or sabotage of subsea infrastructure. Interference with defense systems. The Pentagon has identified that certain wind lease areas conflict with military training and early warning radar systems. And it continues on here. Offshore wind projects emit vibrations, electromagnetic fields, and acoustic signals that can travel long distances, potentially interfering with underwater threat detection. These systems are essential for monitoring hostile submarines, unmanned underwater vehicles, and safeguarding undersea cables. Very, very important. With the advancement of autonomous underwater vehicles, unmanned underwater vehicles, XLUUVs, which can carry nuclear warheads, and on top of that, submarines as well. It's extremely important to be able to hear underwater these days, and these things are very, very hard to detect without a fucking wind farm making it harder. But they want to keep putting up these things, and a lot of them are near major cities on the East Coast, and they're creating massive blind spots underwater where Chinese or Russian subs and unmanned vehicles can sit with their weapons ready to launch and no one can see or hear them. Okay? Very, very, very bad. You see here, China is mapping the ocean floor as it prepares for submarine warfare with the United States. They've basically copied a bunch of our stuff, and now they're deploying these things. And the Russian military may not be that advanced, but their ability to conduct underwater warfare is up there. They're really good at that. They're not good at building aircraft carriers, but they are good at building stuff that goes under the water. And the Chinese are catching up pretty rapidly. And at the same time, these shitheads like Maura Healey are putting giant blind spots in the ocean for wind farm projects. It is the most retarded thing you could possibly imagine. World War III, Strait of Hormuz. Tehran's $500 billion toll booth would change the shape of the Middle East forever. Blockade of the Strait of Hormuz. Iran is selectively allowing ships to pass. Only selected ships are permitted to use the Iran-controlled safe corridor between the islands of Iraq and Hormuz. And you can see there's this huge island called Keshem. Right? Keshem is extremely mountainous. It's extremely forest covered, and they have huge underground facilities. They launch a shit ton of underwater mines, underwater vehicles, all types of stuff from there to shut down the Strait of Hormuz. And taking Keshem Island would cost any country that did that dearly in human life. To invade that island would be a huge quagmire and a big, major loss of life. You can see a U.S. blockade. United States naval blockade of Iran has officially begun after the military moved to restrict ships entering and exiting Iranian ports, marking a major escalation in tensions. Shit is popping off. The blockade. Sitrep of the full U.S. naval blockade. U.S. Central Command said no ships passed through the waterway in its first 24 hours, and 6 merchant vessels were ordered to turn around. A sanctioned Chinese tanker has U-turned after passing through the Strait of Hormuz. The Rich Starry was the first tanker to transit the blockaded waterway this morning, but turned back into the Gulf of Oman. U.S. CENTCOM was responsible for American forces in the Middle East, said no ships passed the blockade. On Monday, Donald Trump vowed to close down the entire waterway, warning that any vessel that approached U.S. Navy ships would be immediately eliminated. However, immediately eliminated. However, the U.S. Central Command later clarified that the blockade applied only to vessels of all nations entering or departing Iranian ports. The blockade was not expected to apply to U.S. ships using non-Iranian ports. The Rich Starry loaded its cargo in UAE, meaning that, although sanctioned, it was not expected to be covered by the blockade. The UN, the head of the United Nations, has urged the U.S. and Iran to extend the ceasefire if it required to find a permanent peace settlement. Antonio Guterres insisted that there was no military solution to the conflict in the Middle East, adding that international law was indispensable in the war. He said, in a world moving toward greater fragmentation and sharper power competition, international law is indispensable. There's no such thing as international law. United Nations, you can go get fucked. Why don't you write a very strongly worded letter? Oh, Hans Bricks, oh, you write me a letter. He said the indication we have is that it is highly probable that these talks will restart. I had today a meeting with Deputy Prime Minister of Pakistan. Oh, good. What are they going to do? Shit in the street or something? Make a bunch of scam calls? Iran's economy, according to the White House. Iran's economy is crumbling more than 24 hours after the U.S. blockaded the Strait of Hormuz, the White House claimed. Iranians desperate for a deal is only increasing with President Trump's highly effective naval blockade in effect, Olivia Wales, a spokeswoman for the White House, told The Telegraph. The president rightfully securing the Strait of Hormuz to ensure freedom of navigation for all ships traveling to non-Iranian ports, ending the Iranian extortion of the world and applying necessary pressure on Iran's crumbling economy.
US blockade, as you say, now in place, and amid efforts to restart peace talks, oil and gas prices remaining high.
This morning, the US Navy blockading Iran. 16 US warships are now enforcing President Trump's order to stop all ships entering or departing Iranian ports and coastal areas. 2 tankers under US sanctions turning around as the restrictions went into effect.
US blockade, as you say, now in place, and amid efforts to restart peace talks.
China's defense minister just told the U.S. Navy directly, our ships are going through the strait. We have agreements with Iran and you don't touch them. The U.S. blockade is live with 15 warships in position and China just announced it's sailing through anyways. Okay? So tensions very, very high. We're already in World War III, but it looks like it's just going to get worse. Iran's ambassador to India says good talks are underway to keep Indian ships moving through Hormuz. He calls Indians reliable partners during tensions. As others debate blockades, Tehran opens the door to New Delhi. So once again, the Belt and Road Initiative, which includes India and Pakistan, obviously. Here you have Keshem Island. Video, Iran says it shot down another U.S. Mk-9 Reaper drone over Keshem Island. If that's true, they've knocked out $1.5 billion worth of these Reaper drones since the start of this conflict. Keshem Island, Iran's largest island in the Persian Gulf, which strategically dominates the narrowest part of the Strait of Hormuz, the critical choke point which about 1/5 of the world's oil normally passes. The article stresses that any such operation risks becoming a bloody and difficult battle. Keshem is heavily fortified with a vast network of military bases, underground bunkers, missile systems hidden in rocky cliffs and salt caves, dense forests, and booby traps. Its large size, over 130 kilometers long, challenging terrain in close proximity to the Iranian mainland strongly favor the defender. Even if seized, holding the island would be tough because Iran could continue striking from the mainland. The piece notes a substantial U.S. military buildup in the region, including roughly 5,000 Marines, 3,000 amphibious troops, and hundreds of special forces on standby, supported by ships, F-35 fighters, Osprey helicopters, and elements of the 82nd Airborne. It quotes experts to see Keshem as an obvious but high-risk landing site. Iranian officials, including Parliament Speaker Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf, whatever the fuck his name is, have responded defiantly, claiming their forces are ready to set American troops on fire.
From the Persian Gulf, the IRGC Aerospace Force documents the terminal intercept of a U.S. MQ-9 Reaper drone over Keshem Island. An infrared tracking system shows a persistent lock on the MQ-9's engine signature. A surface-to-air missile is seen descending from a high-angle trajectory, scoring a direct kinetic hit on the airframe, marking the 16th confirmed loss of a Reaper drone during Operation Epic Fury. With each unit valued at approximately $30 million, the U.S. has now lost nearly $500 million in unmanned surveillance assets to Iran's integrated air defense network. In this footage from the Persian...
I don't think invading Keshem Island would be a very good idea. Let's put it that way. Mines are everywhere. Iran rushed to mine the waterway early this year, but it did in total panic. No GPS, no maps, no records. Mines were just dumped overboard. Now, strong currents are drifting them around, and they're everywhere. The Strait of Hormuz, it's all filled with these stupid things.
Blunder, how Iran missing mine maps are accidentally keeping the strait closed. That's the mess in the Strait of Hormuz right now. Back in early 2026, Iran's Revolutionary Guard rushed to turn this narrow waterway into a massive minefield. According to the New York Times, it wasn't a strategic masterstroke, it was pure panic. Under pressure, IRGC teams were just throwing explosives overboard. They were so focused on blocking Western warships that they didn't bother to record GPS coordinates or lay them in any kind of traceable pattern. They didn't just lock the door, they welded it shut and tossed the blueprints. Then nature made it worse. The currents in the strait are brutal. If these mines snap, they could slam into a passing tanker and trigger a total catastrophe. Drifting explosives turning the world's most important shipping lane into a game of Russian roulette. You could sweep a path today, and a mine could float right back into it tomorrow. The result: about 20% of the world's oil is now trapped behind a wall that Iran built but can't take down. This is Strait of Hormuz. It's a massive global choke point, handling roughly 20% of the world's daily oil supply.
Yeah, and the only way to find all these things is with sonar systems that use some of the sensors and stuff that I make during my daytime. So it's an absolute nightmare what's going on, and it's just, they need a shit ton of underwater vehicles to go over there and start doing mine hunting operations. Strikes are now hitting deep, hardened targets. Reports say U.S.-Israeli airstrikes hit an underground missile facility in Isfahan using bunker-busting munitions, targeting storage and launch infrastructure buried below the ground. You can see some of the photos of these things here. And that was after Iran's Wave 99 slammed the Gulf and Israel. Sadra, ExxonMobil, and Dow Chemical Petrochemical Complex in Al Jalil, Saudi Arabia. Chevron Phillips Petrochemical Complex in Al Jawama, Saudi Arabia. 40-plus points across Rashan, Lazion, Latrun, Dimona, Arad, and more. So this is a full-on absolute war. And here you have, Grimaldus describes this pretty well. Certain N-words are treating genocide like a New Year's Eve.
שולחן, דדליין, סופר, לאחור.
אולי מופלטות בחדר הדיונים של המשא ומתן יזרזו קצת את העניינים. Speaking their gibberish sand language, they're sitting there counting down Trump's, oh, we're going to wipe out the Iranian friggin' society tweet. They're like, yay, let's have genocide again. They almost unleash absolute hell on Iran. Here you have B-52s that were en route. But the Israelis have launched hell on Lebanon. Probably so they can expand into it and continue their, greater Israel project. Here you can see some of the stuff that's been going on. Just blowing up apartment buildings, residential areas. Demolishing Lebanon for no particular reason. Oh, because there's Hezbollah there or whatever the hell they're going to claim. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with the fact that they are trying to clear more land so they can expand their footprint. 722 people injured, 87 dead. Meanwhile, Iran has been dropping its own bombs against the Western countries with these Lego videos.
Hey, orange pig. America first? Oops. Oh boy, that was the slogan you sold. But Bibi's pulling strings and your vote is getting cold. We're not just fighting for Iran, hear this clear. Your people reached out to us. Yeah, we got the DMs here. If one nation's gonna stand against the Epstein regime's fear, it's us till the last breath. We've been doing it for years. We're standing here for everyone. Your system ever wrong, they've known all along. The enemy was always you. The real threat wore a suit and sung a patriotic song while selling their own citizens and calling it strong. Stealing from your own people, making them bleed, taking tax dollars just to fund your own greed. They waking up to the lies, the illusions of burst. You screamed America first, nah, you put losers first. Make Israel great again. Your government is run by pedophiles. They ordered you to die for Israel. They ordered you to die for Israel. They lied to you all. We saw everything. If the public ever saw the files, man, the planet would shake from the level of filth and the crimes in your wake. No wonder Jeff called you the worst, you degenerate snake. You claimed you never set foot. You went 40 plus times. You sick bastard, you cooked. We stepping up to the plate. Epstein regime gotta fall. You fake Christian elite sacrificing the ball. Demon, you talk real big for a man with tiny hands. Tiny hands, tiny things, tiny everything. We saw everything, and word got out. The smallness kinda expands. No wonder all those rage tweets, all those desperate rants. Overcompensating bully, always causing the scene. You said you love losers. Well, look at your team. Your government is run by. Your government is run by pedophiles. They ordered you to die for Israel. They ordered you to die for Israel. They lied to you all.
Somehow we're losing the propaganda war to Iran. How are they bodying us so hard? Iran war is not going awesome. Iranian hackers published dozens of documents belonging to former Israel Chief of Staff Herzi Halevi, including personal photos, adding, "This is just the beginning." Oh, goodness. U.S. withdraws AWACS plane from the Middle East. The E-33 Sentry plane, recently sent to replace the one Iran blew up in Saudi Arabia, is now heading north, likely returning to Ramstein Air Base in Germany. Hopefully that's a good sign. Well, it's not a great sign because we do need AWACS aircraft in the Middle East watching over stuff, but they keep shooting them down. And people have been making $950 million bets on oil prices. Because once again, we all know that the banksters just can't help getting involved in making money on all this. You know, they run all the wars and they profit off them at the same time. Isn't that nice? $950 million bets, 500 million shorts, just 15 minutes before Trump delayed strikes on Iranian energy infrastructure. Turkey wants in. Turkish President Erdogan threatens military action against Israel, the Telegraph reports. Just as we entered Libya and Karabakh, we can enter Israel. And here you go. World War III, just continuing on. Bring in the next version of it. Turkey invading Israel. It's never ending. Supposedly they use this ghost murmur thing. CIA reportedly used a new secret tool, Ghost Murmur, to locate the downed U.S. airmen in Iran, capable of detecting a human heartbeat from long range. Lockheed Martin Skunkworks built it. Imagine what else they could use this technology for. Probably not a good thing. And that movie, this movie here about was it Oppenheimer or whatever? Basically, all I got out of that movie was Oppenheimer was a complete piece of shit that kept sleeping with communist whores and sacrificing U.S. national security because he couldn't keep his dick out of communist whores. And also, everyone else did all of the work. He just got all the credit. Was that what that movie was about? Because I'm pretty sure that's what that shit movie was about. Was how Oppenheimer did nothing, did none of the work, acted like a little whiny bitch, and kept sleeping with communist whores and couldn't stop undermining U.S. national security. Downed F-15. U.S. rescues downed Air Force officer deep inside Iran, Trump says. I don't know if any of that was true or what we're being told is true, but you know if you go through this New York Times article that this is going to become like a movie, behind enemy lines type movie. It's too much. This is some wag the dog level crap going on at this point. When you start reading this stuff, they're like, oh yeah, we used ghost murmur and the pilot climbed to the top of a mountain range armed with only a pistol. It's just... Jesuits, yeah, the Jesuits are all involved in this as well. It's all the same things I've said countless times. Jesuits, Zionists, they're all part of the same cult, right? They censoring that in the chat now? Who knows? A video of a drone dropping a tennis ball into a tank from a U.S. Army training exercise. So as we enter the drone wars, U.S. Army needs a lot of work. Look at this dude. The drone's right above him. He's like, la-di-da. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. What do I do? And the fucking grenade's in your tank. What do? I'll shut the fucking hatch. With the grenade inside. Oh, my God. It's a good thing that was a tennis ball, bro. That's all I'm going to say. Sea Archer. Here you have the U.S. Sea Archers are now undergoing sea trials. These are unmanned surface vehicles. The whole, modern warfare is going to be done by unmanned vehicles as they build, the shit from the Terminator movies, except way more advanced than you could ever possibly predict. They just keep advancing these things and making them more and more deadly, harder to detect. It's just unbelievable. So here's the newest USV going out for sea trials. I mean, I guess if China's going to do this, we have to do it, but it's creating this crazy arms race of unmanned vehicles that you wouldn't believe unless you saw it firsthand like I have. And the problem with this all, it's all eventually going to be turned against us. The fallen ones, the demons that run these politicians from behind the scenes, the spiritual, realm that no one likes to talk about, these things can control electronics. That's why, the ghost hunting people always use electronics to talk to that side. And they'll just take these things over and turn them on us all. And we'll be defending ourselves against these things from all angles. The Chinese USVs are being tested and built as well. Completely autonomous. They're going to be equipped with all types of fun stuff. Here they are. Getting better and better every day. Shahed drone was downed over Iraq. You see the video here. Smoked. An Iran bridge was blown up.
آره بدبخت مردم زد زد یکی دیگه هم زد قشنگ
Look in the background. You can see.
محسن زد
You can see just how mountainous Iran is. Iran is not like Iraq or something where you can just smoke everything. The Iranians have built deep into these mountains stuff that you can't hit, that even bunker buster bombs can't hit. Any ground invasion of this country is not going to be like invading Iraq or one of these other Arab countries. This is way, way more difficult terrain that definitely benefits the defenders, not the attackers. Like in Afghanistan, where it ended up being a giant quagmire for every country that's gone in there because it's super mountainous and all this kind of stuff. It's just, we cannot get into an invasion of Iran. As the Middle East burns, this is Novorossiysk, Russia tonight. We're not in a world war, but we're much closer than most realize. I would say we are in a world war. I would say at this point, we are in a world war. It's a never-ending war that's been going on since 2001. These unmanned systems are doing. They're striking deep into Russia. And Hezbollah now has unmanned systems as well. Here is Hezbollah is getting into the fiber optic game. This footage shows fiber optic FPV drones armed with anti-tank warheads striking the IDF Namir armored personal carriers in a Humvee in the town of Bayada, Lebanon. Hezbollah's got these. Everyone has these things at this point. The drone wars are on. And here you can see China's ramping up its underwater warfare against the United States. You can see here the Seawolf class SSN compared to the new Type 095 SSGN made by China. They're basically copying our shit. Right? I mean, you can clearly see what's going on here. Underwater warfare is becoming extremely important. Here's a video of a Shahed 136 Duran 2 UAV releasing its clusters of PTM-3 anti-tank vehicle mines while flying close to its target. There it is right there, and it's going to go and then drop a bunch of these cluster munitions. Drone warfare is becoming extremely advanced. And for the people who are like, oh, well, I don't believe the U.S. is going to invade on the ground until I see some warthogs in the sky. Remember we talked about that last live stream? U.S. ground attack aircraft land at UK base. 12 times A-10C Thunderbolts are spotted at RAF Lakenheath and used to support ground forces. So the A-10 Warthogs are on the move. These things are fucking badass. But still, this is not a good sign if they're moving these into position. These are only really used for close air combat support of ground forces. And here you can see the town in Lebanon that Israel wiped out. Israel destroyed an entire town of Al-Qim in southern Lebanon within a month. And this is the Greater Israel Plan. Just like they did to Gaza, they're now doing this to Lebanon, wiping out entire towns so that they can, and this is in southern Lebanon too, so this is where they would want to expand their borders of Israel into Lebanon, right? So they just wiped out the whole town, the entire thing. Watch this time lapse. It's insane. There was a town there. If you had to kill the terrorists, Titus, they were just terrorists in every one of those buildings, turns out. The entire town was all terrorists. It was all Hezbollah. Okay. Yeah, wait, I thought it was a Jew hater for telling you this 3 months ago, says Ian Carroll. Netanyahu admits that he started the war in Iran in order to transform Israel into a supernation. We're working on transforming Israel into a supernation in the region and globally, says Netanyahu, also known as BB-Bot.
And this is the guarantee for our future. We are working on transforming Israel into a super nation in the region and globally. And we were able to do so thanks to our soldiers and our captains and all those who fought and those who died. And of course, thanks to your solidarity and your steadfastness. And this is the guarantee for our future.
All right, so they're just full on admitting what was going on here. But these are not, these people claim to be ancient Israelis and all this crap. They're not. They're not the ancient Israelites. They have no claim to the land. These people have moved into there and are taking it for themselves, but they're not the ancient tribes of Israel or something. This is like how China claims, you know, the moon was always a part of ancient China. It's that same type of level of deceit, okay? Why? Because the ancient Israelites were white. Here's Rabbi Shmuley trying to claim otherwise. I mean, look at this disgusting looking human being.
Everything that you were taught as a Christian about Jesus is false. What if Jesus was not an enemy of Judaism and the Jewish people, but an enemy of Rome and Caesar? What if Jesus was actually a patriot who was rebelling not against the strictures of the law, St. Paul would later say against the Torah, but was rebelling against the oppression and persecution of Rome? I wrote my book, Kosher Jesus, and I'm talking about this now because
Kosher
how many comments
Jesus?
generated by my article yesterday that proving the Romans killed Jesus. I wrote Kosher Jesus to give the true story of the Jewish Jesus, as recounted by the New Testament.
The Jewish Jesus.
The Synoptic Gospels of Paul.
The thing was,
Mark, Matthew,
he was
Luke.
an Israelite of the time, but they don't live in Israel anymore. The modern day Israelis, the modern day Jews, are not the same thing as the ancient Israelites. That is where they're trying to trick you. And it's blatantly obvious. Okay? You have all these people like Adam Green who try to make this claim as well. It's completely false. It's completely false. What did Jesus look like? I wonder if we have any first-hand accounts of him. Was he the way they describe modern Jews, or was he completely different looking?
When it comes to the appearance of Christ, who would be a better impartial witness than the man who personally met him and sentenced him to death? Pontius Pilate was a Roman pagan who saw Christ up close and personal. Vallius Paterculus, a Roman historian, met and interviewed Jesus, who reported it to Pilate, who in turn wrote a letter to the Roman Emperor, which at the time was Tiberius Caesar. Amongst many things, he gave a description of Christ's appearance. In it, he describes him as follows: his golden coloured hair and beard gave to his appearance a celestial aspect. He appeared to be about 30 years of age. Never have I seen a sweeter or more serene countenance. What a contrast between him and his bearers, with their black beards and tawny complexions. So just by that account, he would sound like many modern Europeans. But let's examine all the other evidence. Are there any other depictions of Christ? We have another one from the Arco volume. In it we can read where Gamaliel was sent by the Sanhedrin to interrogate Joseph and Mary in regards to their child Jesus. It describes Christ as a picture of his mother, only he has not a smooth round face. His hair is a little more golden than hers, though it is much from sunburn as anything else. Who has golden hair and burns in the sun? His eyes are large and a soft blue and rather dull and heavy. This is all sounding very similar to Pilates' letter. Finally, we have another letter which is by Publius Lentulus, which could be translated as a dullard public official, so a Roman official who visited Judea at the time of Christ, and this letter was addressed to the Senate. In it, Christ's hair is described as the colour of chestnut, full ripe down to the ears, so again that would be a blondish colour. Furthermore, he says his face without spot or wrinkle, beautiful with a lovely red. So red cheeks, who do you see red cheeks on? His eyes grey, clear and quick in reproving hypocrisy. So that's 3 different accounts, all giving a very similar depiction of Christ. However, let's see what the Bible actually says. When God created Adam, the first man, he created him in the image of himself, in the image of God. Since Christ is God, it would only make sense that whatever Adam looked like would give us an idea to Christ's appearance. Furthermore, why did God specifically name the first man Adam? The name Adam is derived from Strong's H119 Adam, meaning to show blood in the face, i.e. to flush or turn rosy. Blushing is a hot red flushing of the cheeks unique to white people when they feel humility, shame or embarrassment, and is often associated with the inability to hold the head up and bear another's gaze. Even Darwin described blushing as the most peculiar and most human of all expressions. So what is God telling us here? That Adam could show blood in the face, could blush, had rosy cheeks. In that case, what would Eve look like, who was from Adam, and what would all their descendants look like? Is it not obvious to what Christ would look like? Throughout the Bible, we see the Israelites commonly described as being ruddy in their appearance. The word ruddy, similar to Adam, means when a white person has a red colour, suggesting good health, a rosy complexion, and is associated with blushing or showing blood in the face. In the book of Samuel, we read that when Samuel discovered a young David, he was described as ruddy, with a beautiful countenance and goodly to look at. In other words, he was healthy looking with bright red rosy cheeks. David is again described this way in his duel with Goliath, ruddy with a fair countenance, so that's twice. David's son Solomon in the Songs of Solomon is also described as white and ruddy. It does not get more clearer than that. Since Christ descended from both David and Solomon, would he not resemble them? Would he not also be white and ruddy? Another word often used is fair, which is an Old English adjective meaning to have pale skin or pale yellow golden hair. So fair means light, such as a light white skin complexion, white to rosy red skin, beautiful and pleasing to the eye. In Genesis we read that the sons of God, the angels, saw the daughters of men, Adamites, that they were fair, and they took them wives, all of which they chose. In the book of Job we read, and in all the land there were no women found so fair as the daughters of Job. And in Daniel we read that Daniel and his friends, at the end of 10 days their countenance appeared fairer and fatter in flesh. In Acts we read, in which time Moses was born and was exceeding fair. And back to Songs of Solomon, thou art all fair, my love, there is no spot in thee. Is it not obvious? If all these Israelites were fair, then so was Christ. He must have been white with fair skin. So what was the earliest artwork of Christ and the apostles like? How were they depicted? Looking at the early pictures from churches, monasteries, caves and catacombs, it's clear that Christ was always known to be white. The earliest known images are around the 3rd and 4th century. Initially he had no beard with short hair, but later on the images began to add a thick beard and longer hair. Modern images often tend to follow this today. Early depictions you can also clearly see the apostles were white, just like Christ. There are numerous pictures of Paul and John, as well as Peter and his brother Andrew. There have been attempts to deliberately Photoshop or alter pictures to show a different narrative. So what did Christ look like? Is it not pretty clear from all the evidence? We must remember the apostles travelled to Europe exclusively, and there was never any doubt that they were white. The land around Judea and northern Africa was a white civilization. Only after the Arab conquest, 700 years later, did that permanently change forever. And this is how Christ and the apostles were white. But the people now living in those lands 2,000 years later are not. Thanks for watching, everyone. Praise Yahweh. And migrations of the European people. Today, our people, the Europeans, are spread everywhere throughout the world, on every continent and every corner. Wherever we've went, we've built a Christian civilization. However, Europeans were not always found scattered across the world. At one time, we weren't even found in Europe. Just over 2,000 years ago, we all collectively, for the most part, originated from a mass of Germanic tribes who swarmed into Europe and eventually even conquered and destroyed the Roman Empire. So we didn't just start off as Englishmen or French, German, American, Australian and all the other European peoples. Rather, we all came from the same ancestors, our Germanic forefathers, and we started off as Franks, Saxons, Angles, Goths, Vandals, Lombards and the many other numerous Germanic tribes. From then on we became the modern nations, and with Christianity we built the greatest, most prosperous, thriving civilization ever to exist in history all over the world. But if we came from these Germanic tribes, then where did the Germanic tribes come from? Did they just magically appear out of nowhere? Now, most people probably have a vague recollection of the events of the Bible, and that the Israelites were deported out of their nation by the Assyrians. They were dragged off into the regions just below the Caucasus Mountains. But after that, what happened? Where did they go? Were they just lost in history forever? Is that where the story ends? Well, not quite. Over the past 200 years, modern archaeology has dug up many of these biblical locations, such as Nineveh, the former capital city of the Assyrian Empire. We have uncovered many pillars and tablets where the inscriptions have been translated, and it all shows that the Assyrians, the Persians and Medes, the Babylonians, all these empires really did exist, that the Assyrian kings really did deport millions of Israelites. There are numerous records of this, except they called them Kimri or Cymri, which means the people of Omri. Now, King Omri was the king of the northern kingdom of Israel at the time when the first deportations began. The Assyrians called the Israelites after their king. In Hebrew, the name Omri actually starts with a guttural C, so it would be pronounced something like Himri. Throughout our English Bibles, the translators generally got rid of all these guttural C's in many words and just replaced them with vowels. So that is why our Bible translated the name to King Omri, but the Assyrian inscriptions dropped the guttural noise and kept the C or K, and so we have Kimri or Cymri. After the Assyrian Empire collapsed, a mass of these Kimri are recorded as beginning to invade and pillage Greece, while some went over the Caucasus Mountains and others around the Caspian Sea, all towards Europe, but many still remained where they were. The Greeks transliterated Kimri to Kimmeroi, which we anglicized to Cimmerians, Ian meaning people, so people of Kimri, and these Cimmerians came from exactly where the Bible tells us the Israelites were deported to, because they were the Israelites. Now later, with the rise of the Babylonian Empire, they transliterated the name to Gimri, so that guttural Chimeri, they preferred a G over a C or a K. Next, with the Persian Empire we get a completely new name. They called the Israelites Sake, or sometimes Sake Sune instead, which means the sons of Sake. Now over the centuries the Israelites were still migrating to Europe in waves, and some adopted this new Persian name. One famous historian of the Saxons, Sharon Turner, proposed that the tribal name Saxons is likely the gradual merging of Sake and Sune together into a single word, and thus the origin of the name Saxon. As the Cimmerians or Saxons pushed their invasions further into Europe, they gained another two names, those being the Scythians, which they called themselves, and the Galatahi, which the Greeks called them. Scythian is likely from the Hebrew word Sukkoth, and it literally means booth or tent, so people of the tents. The Israelites had no home or permanent settlement, they were constantly on the move, pushing further and further into Europe. As for Galatahi, one possible theory is the famous Greek historian Homer mocked the Scythians, calling them Galaphagi, which means milk drinkers, since they lived and survived off their vast cattle they brought with them. The word Gala is milk in Greek, so Galatahi. Eventually, these Galatahi reached as far as northern Italy and sacked Rome. The Romans shortened the name Galatahi to just Galli, which once again we anglicised to Gauls. The historian Livy calls these invading Gauls at the time a strange race, new settlers. The Romans had never seen them before because they were the migrating Israelites who had come from Assyria. The Gauls pushed even further into Europe, including what we call France today, and at the time the land was already called Celtica. Whilst most Gauls ended up all over Europe, the Gauls in Celtica blended in with the Celts, and the Romans from then on called the land Gaul. So now we're on to the final name, German, Germanic, Germania. Where do we get these names from? Well, you can thank none other than Julius Caesar for that one. During his conquest in Gaul, he distinguished the Gauls who had merged in with the Celts and the masses of Gauls all across Europe. He called those ones Germania, which means genuine, authentic, true, sincere. He saw the Gauls who merged with the Celts as a mixed breed, and the Gauls across Europe as a purer breed. Now this is purely Caesar's perspective. In reality, the Celts were also Israelites, so the Gauls in France were just as pure, and we will explain the origin of the Celts in a later proof. Strabo, the famous historian, lists these German people, or all of Germania, from the western Rhine all the way right back to the Black Sea, an enormous mass of people, and historians over and over again, like Pliny, assert that the Germans are the Scythians, who are the Cimmerians, further proving these are all one and the same people. So the deported Israelites migrated into Europe from Assyria, becoming the Germanic tribes, and then the modern European people and all of our nations today. Many went over the Caucasus Mountains, and that is today why we are collectively called Caucasians, and at one time all historians accepted this as a mere fact. In other words, we are the Israelites, the descendants of Abraham, Isaac and Jacob, and the 12 tribes. We are the people of the Bible. All the promises and prophecies we inherited. It is our family history.
Now you're understanding why they're trying to erase white people from all the stuff that they control, as they try to inherit the stuff that was, to us. You can see David was ruddy in the face, King James Bible, ruddy in the Bible is mentioned a bunch of times. It's just over and over again. You can see the full 100 proofs at this video here on BitChute. It's been banned from YouTube. So you know that they hate this type of stuff because it points to the big lie that they're trying to push about all this kind of stuff. You can see in Lamentations here, plain as day, it says, Jesus was from Nazareth, right? He was a Nazarite. Her Nazarites were purer than snow. They were whiter than milk. They were more ruddy in body than rubies. Their polishing was of sapphire. Okay? Purer than snow. They were whiter than milk. Does it get any more obvious? They were not what the modern Israelites are. They were not what the modern Jews are. They're white people. The tribes of Israel, the ancient tribes of Israel, have been spread across the earth, right? And here is Rabbi Shmuley, who is saying, oh, well, Jesus was standing up to the Vatican and the evil people, you know, of the Holy Roman Empire. Here he is with them.
Cardinal Secretary of State of the Vatican, Cardinal Parolin has showed himself to be a man of distinct humility and sublime dignity, and a great lover and friend of the Jewish community. And I just wanted to personally communicate that all of the Holy Father's Jewish children around the world pray for his speedy recovery, and that we have deep love and affection for him. And thank you for everything the church does to combat anti-Semitism and to stand up for our people, Eminence. And thank you for
the Vatican, the Jesuits, have always been... Why did the Vatican not want the Bible printed into English so badly? Because they didn't want to be identified as Mystery Babylon, being on 7 hills in Rome, which is exactly what the Bible called out as being evil in the future. They took true Christianity, Orthodox Christianity, and twisted it into this thing called Catholicism, and mixed it with a bunch of pagan rituals, and have been completely, you know, taken over and run by people like Rabbi Shmuley in the modern day. And none of these people are, you know, good people. Let's put it that way. Hey, at Grok, what religion are the producers of this? Here you can see they're doing some horrendous show where they're trying to turn people away from Christianity by making it look horrendous, right? They're using the Catholic Church, and it's like the key people behind the series: Neil Gaiman, David S. Goyer, Alan Heinberg, Samuel Keith, Mike Dringenberg, are trying to portray, you know, Christians as homosexuals, right? And then you see this here, the Jewish Satanists, right? This is one of the most Jewish things I've seen all day. But Satan doesn't have a problem with us Jewish people, right? We just vibing, says someone to at Church of Satan. The Church of Satan comes back and says, there are many Jewish Satanists, including our founder, Anton LaVey, who was raised in a secular Jewish household. So there you go, folks. Like the synagogue of Satan, full-on admittance. And here you have these extremely edgy losers. Happy Baphomet victory with Steve-O at the Satanic Temple. That dude on the right, Lucian Greaves, time is not doing well for him. He looks like shit. They all end up looking that way, don't they? And so does Steve-O. Like, do either of these individuals look like they're doing too well? Nope. Maybe they should turn to the real God, not their stupid goat head, whatever the fuck that thing is. You know, it's so gross and disgusting. Like, just so pathetic as well. And, you know, of course, they're doing this crap now with the Virgin Mary. You can guess who the producers of this thing are. This is what they're doing to the Virgin Mary. New look at Anne Hathaway and David Lowry's Mother Mary. Like, yeah, because Mother Mary, the Virgin Mary, dressed like a whore. That's what she was doing. It's so ridiculous. Why do we let these people run our media and everything else when they're a bunch of satanic, anti-Christian bigots? You know, you don't see these people attacking, you know, Islam or Judaism or any other religion. No, it's always Christianity that's in the crosshairs of these faggots. And here's Ted Cruz, who LARPs as a Christian, but won't even say Christ is king.
Can you say Christ is king,
Look, Frank, I'll tell you my hesitancy with it is there are people online who are using that in a way that seems that look, Jesus Christ is the Lord and Savior. He died and shed his blood for all of us. Yes. But I don't like people using it's a weird online phenomenon that I think is There are some that are using that in a hateful way, and I think that's...
Well, I don't mean it in a hateful way.
I know you don't. I know you
no, of course. I mean it like Christ is king.
Amen.
Amen. Yeah. All right.
He won't say it. Won't say it.
Can we throw up a 1?
I'll just do a thumbs up.
That's awesome, man. Thank you so much. All right, thank you.
Who won't say it at all. Unbelievable. Now let's get into Erika Kirk's mom. Lori France appears in Edward Snowden leaked PRISM docs as NSA agent. Erika Kirk's mom confirmed as an intelligence asset. I just discovered Lori France's name in the leaked documents released by Edward Snowden. This document explicitly lists her under a section you see here, she's an NSA agent. Confirmed spy. Lori's inclusion in a list of NSA personnel alongside former directors like Lieutenant General Kenneth Minahan adds massive weight to the claim that she has spent her career embedded in deep state apparatus. If Lori is a confirmed intelligence asset, her daughter's entire life story suddenly looks like a meticulously managed operation. The targeted infiltration of Charlie Kirk. The pieces are fitting together perfectly. We always suspected that Erika's chance meeting with Charlie in an airport was too convenient to be real. So there you go. LARPer of the Year, Erika Kirk. Here is her 6 days after. This is 6 days after Charlie's murder.
What's up? Look how cute that is. Sorry, this is a little bit more informal than probably Charlie would be reacting. How sweet. I didn't know they could do that. I hate Zoom. I never like Zoom. Sorry, you guys.
Really,
I just wanted to say first and foremost, my heart obviously is broken for you guys as much as it is for our family. You guys lost not only a boss, but someone that you looked up to, someone that you believed in his mission, that you also that you loved. You loved listening to his show. You loved hearing his wisdom on things. I'm sure some of you have also had very personal moments of where you sat down and
so that's the beginning, just so you have that in its full context.
Yeah, okay. It's just ridiculous. Here's Charlie Kirk on the Iran war.
I know to answer your question, my husband isn't here to say whether or not we should be at war with Iran. I would love for him to be here right now and to tell us if we should or should not.
We have the clip. Please play the clip.
Here's where I stand and where the MAGA base stands. We do not want U.S. boots on the ground. We do not want American kinetic involvement. This is Israel's war.
Make sure we don't go to war against Iran, which would be a profound mistake for our country. So that's a really, really important thing.
It's pathologically insane. I'm sorry. It is. Do you understand how large Iran is? It's massive. It's a very big country. It's mountainous. It makes Afghanistan and Iraq look like a cakewalk.
This is more Israel pushing for Iran, but is that America's problem? That's maybe the answer is yes. Maybe the answer is, you know what? They were wrong about Iraq. They were wrong about Syria. They were wrong about Afghanistan. They were wrong about the Taliban. They were wrong about Libya. They were wrong about the Arab Spring. They were wrong about Yemen. They were wrong about the Arabian Peninsula. They were wrong about the 9/11 hijackers being Saudi Arabian. But hey, 10th time's a charm. This time we're actually right.
Yeah, no, to answer your question, my husband isn't here to say whether or not we should be at war with Iran. I would love for him to be here right now and to tell us if we should or should not.
Yeah, well, you've plenty of evidence to what he thought. Somehow she's LARPing as if none of those video clips exist. We know what Charlie thought about going to war with Iran. We don't need him here right now to tell us. He told us a bunch of times before they murdered him. And here's his grieving widow lying about it. Just so ridiculous. Here she is. Before, I mean, granted, this is before Charlie, but still.
The cold pigeon. No, cold.
Balls deep.
Balls?
Yep.
Yep,
Balls
we're
deep.
going in. We're going in.
Wow. Hello.
Lucky Charlie, she liked to go balls deep.
And I'm down for you always. The new me is really still the real me. I swear you gotta feel me before you try and kill me. They gotta make the choices. They're running out of options. Cause I forgot to run around down.
911, what's your emergency?
Hey, thanks, can we talk? I don't know what to do cause I'm nauseous. Okay, sir, tell me where you are. I don't know, and I can't stop this. Fill my body up with these toxins. How do I get this out of my chest?
Trapping and all this stuff. She's so fake, it's unreal. But here she is crying her eyes out.
Charlie! 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 Love you, Erika.
Oh yeah, she's really upset. Everyone grieves differently, especially Erika Kirk.
Charlie! 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 Love you, Erika. Charlie! Charlie!
Unbelievable.
We do not allow a small group of neocon Jews run by a little dipshit named Erika Kirk who dresses like a cupcake determine who is guilty and who is innocent. She looks like she should be at the top of a gay-on-gay wedding cake. She looks like if Liberace had a Barbie doll and was allowed an infinite budget to dress it. She looks like if a gay flamingo took LSD and then described exactly what he saw in himself. Do I think Tyler Robinson is guilty of something? Yes, and I'll tell you what it is. The system knows how to get a patsy in place. They're not stupid, and they oddly usually follow the law. What they do is when they want someone dead, they start whispering into the ears of people that have been targeted based on their personality traits. You find these LGBT retards like Tyler Robinson, who I'm sure is a perverted asshole. You get them all juiced up, and then they do what you want, therefore you have a patsy. Now, what is the problem with the scenario? They're not competent. They're degenerates. Anyone that listens to the whispers of the glowies already is not good at accomplishing jobs. That's why it's such a fine line. You find someone with extreme grievance and victim consciousness, but is still capable of following through, okay? So many times, they don't even use them anymore to follow through. What do? They just kill the guy, and the retard is there like, am I here? I mean, you said there'd be cupcakes. Whatever is true needs to be exposed. I don't know what happened. That's the whole fucking point of an investigation and a trial. And there's probably like 8 of them show up. It's probably Tyler Robinson, a guy named Blaine, a fat gamer, some fucking black guy that was promised soda. Yeah, I was in some Discord. Do you know what the word Discord means? To sow discord? Maybe we should learn what words mean. You go into Discord and you get jacked up and you go show up to some place and they're like, okay, are you here for the thing? To get Lee Harvey Oswald to go into a fucking book suppository, get him jacked up on LSD. They had that back then. And then you actually do the killing and you go, oh, no way, that guy. And then that guy is so jacked up, he's like, yeah, it was me. I'm the hero. This happened to Timothy McVeigh. Right until the moment they flipped on the fucking electric chair, he thought the government was going to save him. He kept telling everyone, no, guys, I work for the government. Everyone's like, what the fuck? And right up until he was electrocuted to death, he thought that they were going to fucking pull him out like a special agent. And this is why it's all up to us to not listen to the whispers and not take part in things we don't understand and not externalize our grief, externalize our authority. Oh, if only Charlie Kirk wasn't here, then I wouldn't feel so disgusting being sodomized by a furry named Lance Twigs. That's definitely not a real name. Twigs and berries. Isn't that your genitalia? What's a lance? Oh, it's a giant phallus. Oh, that sounds like a good name. Learn how wizardry works. Understand that there's something in you that wants it. Find it in you before you externalize and heal. Or
yeah, nailing it right there. But here's one of his detractors. So earlier we went over how very real Pizzagate is, okay? And here she is, Terry Joyce, this horrendous, one of the world's least funny comedians of all time, who has been threatening to sue me because I made fun of her and said she's a shitty comedian who wears a wig. Look at this lady. She's fat and old, and she's stuffing an entire pizza down her face. And she wants you to know out there that people like me are guilty of creating conspiracies like Pizzagate, and that we're dangerous and we should be silenced from the internet. This is the same lady who flagged down my YouTube videos and tried to get me banned from YouTube not that long ago, and still thinks that people like me and people like Owen Benjamin shouldn't have a voice because we don't agree with her fucking bullshit. She doesn't think Pizzagate is real despite the overwhelming evidence against her opinion, and she wants to sue us for things that we're not involved in. She claims I was a QAnon supporter, even though there is countless videos on my BitChute and other channels where I say QAnon is a psyop, and I call it fake. I was never a QAnon supporter, ever. Just because I liked tweets from people and some dumb bitch named Laura Loomer put me in her research paper doesn't mean that's reality. That means Laura Loomer is also a dumb fucking cunt who was so dumb that she got all of her evidence from a person who was addicted to liquid fucking cocaine at the time. Her main source for that information, even though I like Lestat, nice guy, but he was high off his fucking ass on all types of drugs while he was giving her that information. Like, get fucking real, lady. This lady was also involved with barely legal porn production. And now she's posting YouTube shorts about how much she loves pizza. So, I mean, what is she really trying to say with these posts? Why is she so adamant about how Pizzagate was fake, yet she was involved with barely legal porn productions and is now posting pizza videos on her YouTube? Weird. You can go see her crap at Not My Rabbit Hole and let her know I sent you, because her audience is non-existent, yet she makes countless posts about myself, threatening to sue me and all this types of crap. But she's broke and couldn't afford a lawyer in a million fucking years. And if she ever dared to come after me with any sort of legal pursuit, I would countersue the fucking shit out of her with all of the blatant defamation she's done of myself. Whereas all I've ever said is she's not a funny comedian, which is easily provable. Easily provable that she's not funny, and that's also subjective. You can't sue someone for saying that you're a shit comedian. That's just part of being a comedian. Am I wrong? No, I'm not. And I guarantee she also can't prove that she's not wearing a wig. I want her to go to a hairdresser with a live camera and have the hairdresser cut her hair live and show that it's not a wig, because that is blatantly a wig and we all know it. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say about her. She's fucking retarded. Moving on to the next retarded individual, we have Laura Loomer here. There she is on the screen. Very scary looking individual. And she says, I can't wait to see what gets blown up tomorrow. Guess we will have to wait in anticipation to see what President Trump does. I mean, what type of demonic gross human being says something like that? And here, this dude was getting loomered, breaking the founder of Patriot Cigar and co-host of the Steak for podcast, reveals he was sexually assaulted by Laura Loomer, saying she groped him in a parking lot, grabbed his crotch very aggressively, and demanded that he come back to her New York City room. Oh my God. Stay away, it's Jigsaw, bro. Hide, run. Unhinged Loomer. Officially medically unhinged woman is literally handling Donald Trump.
Yeah, I'm just going to admit it. I sent the president Tucker Carlson's clip so he can see the shit that he says about him. I do. And I want that motherfucker Tucker Carlson to know that I'm the one who knifed him from the front. I want him to know. I'm not talking about physical violence, physical knifing. But yeah, I'm the one that sent the president all your shit, Tucker, because he deserves to see the fact that you are lying about him and you are smearing him and you are saying the most vile things about our country and our president.
Wasn't it Gabe Hoffman that wanted to get in this chick's pants? I'm just saying, like, holy shit. She's so gross, dude. And here we have another complete fucking moron. Dim fool. That does it. I am done. This was the last straw. I'm so angry. And if you notice this entire long, giant rant by Donald Trump here, where he calls people like Tucker Carlson and Candace and Alex Jones, he calls them losers. So funny. Love it. Third-rate podcast. That's right, because the only really top-rate podcast is Pod Awful. Yep, that's it. There's one. There's only one decent podcast. It's Pod Awful, and maybe occasionally Tim Dillon's podcast, and the Greg Bedard Patriots podcast. Those are the only decent podcasts I've ever run across on the internet. All these other people are losers. Epic Trump W here. Megyn Kelly. Megyn Kelly's the lady who helped cover up Pizzagate. Loser. Okay? And here, Owen Benjamin just goes, shut the fuck up, Tim Pool. So funny. Based. And notice Tim Pool's not even in this thing, but he's having a little meltdown. His little oversized yarmulke was making his head itch. He's like, how did I not get named in this? And now, Dom Lucre. What's up with the intermittent chat? I have no idea. You're going to have to go and bitch at Google about that. I don't control the live chat here on YouTube. I don't know if it's not apparent to you yet. YouTube and I have a very love-hate relationship. I love the fact that it allows me to transmit to my fine audience and connect with you guys. I hate everything else about it. Okay. Dom Lucre, you've been selected to be exposed. Imagine stealing content, adding your own watermark, posting it, and getting paid lots of money to do so. Until yesterday, that was the life of Dom Lucre. Born Dominican Andrew McKee, he was chose nom de plume of Luque, literally. Because it means money gained in a dishonest way, such as Dom Lucre. Over the years, he's gotten away with the theft so much that he even began stealing photos from the official White House X page and putting his own watermark on it, see below. For years, it was easy clicks and easy money off other people's effort. Now the faucet shuts off and suddenly it's censorship? No, it's accountability. You can't build a brand on recycled content, pass it off as your own, and then act shocked when the platform stops paying you for it. That's not being silenced. That's the business model collapsing. If anything, the only surprising part is how long it lasted. And you can see here, he just puts his stupid watermark on shit. Fortunately, AI can now just remove those. You can just pop it into Photoshop and go remove watermark, and it just pulls it right off. Maze goes, that's funny, you have been selected to be exposed. Here's Dom Lucre attacking Elon Musk. Dear Elon Musk, you have been selected to be exposed. And then he posts a picture of him here. Strangely, this selected to be exposed one has disappeared. Yeah, he took that one down in hopes of getting his monetization on fucking Twitter back. Dom made enough money. Freemason Dominic Andrew McGee, Lucre equals money gain profits. He had admitted being a Mason and later denied it, as all Masons lie. Symbolism, Eye of Horus, Hidden Hand, One Eye in Rings, ex-VIP of IVOS Masonic record label, demonetized for grifting and lying. You can see here, this is the Dom Lucre guy making a shit ton of satanic hand symbols, eye symbols, all that kind of stupid stuff. This is the thing. They used to do this with mainstream people, right? You know, they took over the music industry and these other things. And now it's alternative media. Alternative media is the new mainstream media. All these people are either sexual deviants or Masons or whatever. None of them are authentic, right? They're making all these stupid hand signs and symbols and crap. He was doing all the stupid Freemasonic nonsense. And if this was like some celebrity, Dom Lucre would be like, "You've been selected to be exposed." And he would post all these types of pictures of the person. Here he is with all the different stupid chains on, including the Freemason chain. Looks like one of those coexist bumper stickers. His grifting scheme here. This is what you were supporting with this crap if you supported this guy. Comments for Dom Lucre here. $2,500 a comment. $4,900 for a retweet. Quote retweet, $6,600. Non-new post, $9,800. New post, $15,000 plus. Monthly contracts, $50K to $890K. All right. You know how much you have to pay me for a retweet? Good information. That's it. If you put out something that I find interesting, I'll retweet it. That's how it works. If I find it to be a lie or something else, I'll probably hit you up in the replies calling you a faggot. This guy wants $6,600 to quote tweet your shit. Unfucking real. This is the new mainstream media. It's alt media griftards. And here he is. He posted some stupid thing. Hey, remember when BX on X says, "Hey, remember when you were an open occultist and obsessed with gaining fame and fortune via deceit?" Yeah, that never changed. Okay. You don't just go from being an open occultist to like not. Here he is doing the stupid one eye thing. Again, one eye. Underneath it, it says, "Lord forgive him. He got those dark forces in him." Doing the stupid one eye thing again. All types of dumb chains and shit on.
You don't have to be the bad guy. You are the most talented, most interesting, and most extraordinary person in the X-verse. And you are capable of amazing things. Because you are a X-creator. And so am I. And so is everyone. We both want less slop on X, but slop is subjective. It's about all of us. right now it's about you, and you can still change everything.
Unbelievable. So stupid. Please give me back my money, or I'll have to start stealing bicycles. The grift is over, bro. It is so over. It's never been so over. Better get those fucking bicycle stealing skills back, or whatever the fuck you were doing for money before this. I hope they never remonetize this guy. Ever. They never should have monetized him in the first place. And that is the end. You know, why don't you go ask the Freemasons for some money, bro? That's the end of the show tonight. Thank you all for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. It's midnight. I gotta go work because I'm not a grifting asshole like Dom Lucre or these other alt media shills. So I gotta go to bed and wake up and deal with my 3 kids and go to work like the rest of y'all. We aren't out there grifting for $6,600 to quote tweet people. So if you liked this, make sure to like and subscribe and share and all those kinds of things. I hope I didn't use too much foul language, but we're not exactly covering like the nicest topics on earth. If we were, I would probably swear less. And cheers, mateys. Thank you for watching live. All of you people that are here watching live, I'm sorry if YouTube was messing with your comments. I can't really help that kind of stuff. Go yell at the Indians that run this website. Okay. And peace out, everybody. I'm going to play a little outro as we head out of here. And that is all. So peace out. Take care. And hope you all have a wonderful evening out there. So let me pull up something for us to chill out to as we bail. I normally play my outro, but let's give something old school. Old school, but also nice lyrics. Here you go. All right, peace, everybody. Have a nice night.
Not to close my eyes, go numb, but there's a cold wind coming from the top of the highest high rise today. It's not a breeze cause it blows hard, yes, and it wants me to discard the humanity I now watch the warmth blow away. So don't let the world bring you down. Not everyone here is that fucked up and cold. Remember why you came and while you're alive, experience the warmth before you grow. Oh. So do you think I should adhere to that pressing new frontier and leave in my wake a trail of fear? Or should I hold my head up high and throw a wrench in spokes by?